Let me be straightforward, or at least attempt to. I usually try to be diplomatic and what have you, for the most part. But I do theory, so I try not to just, argue about stuff. But I haven't been wanting to name certain ones or be involved in some of these strange schemes online because I just try to keep to what I'm doing and do theory work, and not because I had felt like one of the strategies was to intentionally get people involved in drama, distracting drama. And so I would try not to get too directly involved in some of these other schemes and whatnot. And for the most part, I feel like I've made a lot of progress in that. From time to time, then I feel like I have to name it because they're just so pervasive and it's just such a lying scheme going on, right? There's not really a way that I track it or try to keep up with it, but I'm kind of noticing some of the references that people are getting involved in lately, where it seems, since I'm not following all the other stuff, I don't always track where they're trying to make reference or emphasis to. And so I'm kind of seeing how, there's pros and cons in me. I'm also multitasking in the kitchen. There's also pros and cons of me staying out of it, but also it just kind of, since it already is very pervasive and it already is a type of battleground, it just seems to leave other people vulnerable to the false transferences of tension, false transferences of where the perceived battle is supposed to be. And it's just this really exploitative, manipulative occurrence of things going on, right? Well, in the midst of it. So anyway, I was trying to think, should I kind of name things? I really don't like to do that. I really don't like getting involved in some of these other things going on. It's very much exploited and manipulated. It's a corrupt, marketable type scheme. And so I just don't even like giving it any place at all. Whereas it already has maneuvered itself in a lot of these false approaches and whatnot. So anyway, So that's the context of why I prefer not to get involved in any of these things, but it's harmful. And it's basically functioning as kind of like death traps for people, leaving them vulnerable, having people falsely invest with false perception that they're having support of groups or supportive of a side or reconciling. And it isn't. It really isn't that at all. It's directly infiltrating people into being a part of the corruption and making communities and various ones part of the corruption when they don't always even know about it. And then they kind of produce this whole pervasive scheme, right? So, hold on. I kind of thought about it. I was like, maybe I need to start talking about some other stuff. It kind of just is there. And so in some ways you kind of have to mention it. This whole thing of the Kardashian Jenners having a weird beef with me and making these weird references to me, it's a whole long story, right? And there seems to be this challenge where they get funding from the system, Israel, other investors, to basically kind of functionally punish people that try to be a part of systemic reform. And as they do that, others that side with them then get these benefits and this whole marketable public perception, and they're sold as peace and being about God and all of these strange things, right? And it's this whole side of this whole Israel idea, right? And it's very pervasive because it's connected itself to Christianity and America and capitalism, development, all of these things. And so for me, when I'm trying to do systemic reform, trying to do biblical interpretation, of course they're going to see it as, they're going to gauge, because there was this growing influence and connection. Right now, a lot of my stuff is basically just seemingly shadow banned. It's kind of bizarre because I could tell other people read stuff and whatnot, and I'll usually get nothing as my numbers. Not like I'm trying to look for numbers, but it's an improper gauge, right? It's an improper perception to the public. And so as some of the proposals were growing influence, then there was this seemingly notion of they send out the dogs, right? Nothing against dogs. I love dogs. Maybe I shouldn't say dogs. They send out the forces because, and I'm really not into the beef of cats and dogs and all of this strange, weird developments of sides and whatnot. But anyway, just various love where you find love and opportunities for love, right? In creation. But anyway, it's been years and very entrenched where it just seems like they kind of sniffed out this like potential for someone's talking about the system and reform. We better go infiltrate it, just like we infiltrate any other type of systemic, like anyone seeking for actual reforms in the system, right? So it kind of turned into this whole thing, and there's a whole long story there, right? I really don't think if people actually knew what was going on, they would side with it in the ways that they do. So there seems to be a lot of intentional manipulation of it going on. Anyway, What it causes me to do, though, in the midst of I want to clarify for those that actually do follow my stuff, that are actually seeing it as corrupt, following my stuff, but then also getting infiltrated into the falseness of it. False peace, false reconciling, false allowing it to be infiltrated in your community, false investment, because it stresses people out. They stress people out. There's covert methods. There's a lot of schemes. They malign people, and they produce a type of relief from stress by using the forces to manufacture that. So there's just a lot of scheming and stuff going on there. And they kind of run through different influencers that they platform every now and again. And it seems that people are just so sure they're in the good fight, whatever. And then eventually it's like, no, I guess they're not. And then they have this other story about like, okay, tell us how you got deceived, It's like, anyway, whatever. So then I thought, okay, there is this false perception that's going on in the industry that surfaces. There's all these other conversations that if you've been following my stuff, that I talk about, like socialism, capitalism. Even though, so there was this other character. There's this other character that I really have befriended, and we just seem to be vibing, and we're like trying to figure it out. We come up against an obstacle, and then we kind of go like get through the obstacle. And I'm enjoying it. I think it's been good so far. I haven't really seen people commit along those lines. Anyway, I think my soup is calling. I thought, okay, I'm going to enter into an even deeper conversation with him, right? That he's had, that I can perceive. We're like palling around, and here's the thing, like just because we're kind of doing this thing and we're trying to navigate through this stage of things, it doesn't mean that I also don't appreciate everybody else on the team. Like the team is immense, and I feel like we've gotten this far. A lot of people that I've seen this happen throughout all the years, we've navigated through various stages, and then almost every character at some point needs some refinement because they kind of get caught up in the system again, and then they make the wrong deals, and then you got to be like, what are you doing? Why? No. So anyway, then there's like refining along the way, right? So it just happens to be that this is the intense conversation that we're having at this point, and there's some unresolved stuff that we haven't quite finished yet. He'll kind of say something, and I'll say something, So at one point he was kind of saying, yes, there's corruption in capitalism, but socialism is worse, blah, blah, blah. And I was trying to read into like, what is he talking about? Is he falling into this trap where people are saying socialism is like the feminine and capitalism is the masculine? I don't see it like that. And the reason why I cautioned from that blanket statement, even though I know he's like hardcore, like private property capitalism and whatnot, I was like, no, you're going to give it in to these corrupt measures because these other influencers, the Kardashian Jenners and various ones that they have aligned with, sell themselves as capitalist. There's a type of socialism, corrupt corporate socialism, however, there's a lot of weird definitions there where it's not really what they're saying it is, but it's in there, right? It's infiltrated in there. And so I was like, no. I mean, there is that. So then that's kind of why I posed this argument as to socialism precedes, there's a certain portion of it, at least some factors of it, and then also like the corrective measures of capitalism and whatnot. So anyway, that kind of catches us up to where I was coming from on that angle or whatever. Some of what he seemed to be getting to, though, was he seemed to be getting to this idea of some forces. So I'm kind of distracted. I'm like, oh, I'm looking at my soup over there. Maybe I'll get back to this.